Hi, welcome. Menopause can gift women with a long list of unpleasantries, and making us highly sensitive to things that we've never had an issue with before is one of those unwanted gifts. There are 7 that I've experienced at one time or another, some of which were so severe they impacted my life in a big way. Let's cover those. I'm starting with the one that almost drove me mad in perimenopause, an increased sensitivity to clothing and anything else that touches the skin. Ladies, my skin was so over the top fragile and reactive, it was torturous. Everything I wore felt like sandpaper. I had to buy a new comforter because the feel of the old one kept me up and annoyed. Anything with fragrance in it caused my skin to rash up or burn, and I was itchy 24/7 to the point that I would scratch myself to bleed. I honestly didn't think I would get through the horror of it all. I lived in sleep pants, shorts, yoga pants, and t-shirts, and I think I bought about 12 different brands of underwear before I finally found a pair I could tolerate. Thankfully, I found a collagen supplement that makes a big difference to my skin, so I'm not as bothered anymore, but I still live in yoga pants, tanks, and tees because they remain the coziest. Number 2 is a heightened sensitivity to stress. The ability to deal with stressful situations, multitask, make decisions, and problem solve are all affected when hormones shift, and the overwhelm jacks up other menopause symptoms and anxiety, making the situation that much worse. I can't deal with more than a few things at a time now, and if things pop up that throw me off my routine, I usually shut down because I can't deal with everything the way that I used to. It's frustrating because I've always been the one to handle everything and get stuff done. I've heard similar stories from other women, so I know I'm not alone. I'm not sure if it's the result of changes to the brain, concentration, moods, anxiety, or several other things, but it really gets in my way sometimes. Next is an increased sensitivity to food. So many women have told me that they can no longer tolerate foods that they never had an issue with before, and I'm having the same problem. I have a sensitivity to a list of foods now, especially fruits, that I ate with no problems my entire life. Now they cause an oral allergy or digestive upset. Changes to the rate of digestion, the microbiome, and histamine production are likely all involved, and it really limits my diet. Citrus is one of my intolerances, and there is citrus in so many foods. Kiwi, mango, oats, and pineapple are an issue for me now as well. I believe this increased sensitivity to foods, and I think the world around me, is one of the reasons my nose drips 24/7. I'm literally the Kleenex queen. Menopause causes an increased sensitivity to tastes as well. I now love foods I hated and hate foods I loved. Food tastes so much more intensely to me now, which can be both a good and a bad thing. My tongue picks up on flavors I never even noticed before, and it can sometimes make food taste off, even though my kids say it's perfectly fine. Changes to saliva production and dryness in the mouth, I guess. I wish it would make chocolate taste less appealing, so it would stop calling my name so often. Number 5, menopause often makes women more sensitive to temperatures. Many of us have a glitchy internal thermostat in midlife, and we are highly sensitive to the temperatures in our environment. Summer is torture for me now. I can't do the heat. I overheat so easily. I prefer winter, but I have to say I can just as easily overchill, where my hands, nose, and feet become ice cold, and I freeze despite all efforts to warm up. I still haven't found a way to keep my world at the perfect temperature to keep me comfortable all day. I'm all over the place, but I don't have the hot flashes. I just have the ongoing hot from time to time. Menopause can also cause heightened sensitivities to noise and, strangely enough, silence. Tinnitus can play a role, but more acute hearing is also responsible. Noises can become amplified, making persistent sounds like a ticking clock or dripping water unbearable, or too much noise all at once torturous. I hear noises now that my kids don't even hear. I was constantly complaining about the ticking of the new wall clock, and my son had no clue what I was talking about. For those of us that deal with tinnitus, absolute silence can be bothersome too. It can actually be painful. I always have to have a fan on now or something low playing in the background. Complete silence hurts my ears because it amplifies the high-pitched tones, and it registers as painful to me. I've had many women describe the heightened sensitivity to sound, but not the lack of sound. Do any of you find silence as bothersome as I do? Number 7 is a sensitivity to odors, which is a real problem for many women in midlife. There are certain smells that set me right off to the point where I have to leave and avoid them. Body odor is a big one for me. I cannot deal with smelly individuals. There is one young man who works at the grocery store who really isn't into hygiene, and although he's very nice, I have to avoid him because I just can't get through getting my groceries scanned and paid for. My kids obviously don't smell it as intensely as I do because they think I'm overreacting, but to me, it's unbearable. The smell of certain foods is too much for me to bear too, like when I was pregnant, as well as the smell of freshly mowed grass and dirt. Heck, sometimes I even smell things that aren't there at all. I'm not sure of the exact cause of the acute sense of smell in menopause, but falling estrogen and the drying out of the mucous membranes in the nose do play a role. I'm sure there are many other things menopause makes many women more sensitive to, and if you want to add to the list, share in the comments. Those are just the ones that came to mind because they've affected me at one time or another. It never ceases to amaze me how many different and odd ways menopause can affect us and change our bodies. I really hope things start to right themselves and you feel better with each passing day. I wish health, happiness, and peace of body and mind for each of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.